Hello friends, welcome back. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Kim, I haven't seen you in a while. Does that mean that we're all good? Everything is good, Black lives are mattering. I put in my black box and I am here because I've been thinking and talking and having conversations with people that I admire, that I trust, that are smarter than me, because you know, I'm always learning. And we've been all kind of circling on some things that I thought was really important to bring up, because again, there's always stuff to learn, right? We're learning, even me, still learning, because that's what we do. So I've noticed, and I'm sure you have too, and I've, seen a lot of these changes, these definitive things that people are doing, because now all of a sudden they realize, oh my gosh, Black people are here too. So maybe we should like stop doing some of those things that we've been doing. So, well, that's a different conversation for a different day. I do want to get into the very real conversation of changing symbols as opposed to changing structure, right? So I wrote a list, because it's me, of some of the things that I've noticed that honestly kind of missed the mark a little bit, and I wanted to discuss them and let you know, like, that's not what we meant, right? Okay, so one of the things, Band-Aids. Such a simple thing, right? And it's so funny to me that after about 100 years in business, Band-Aids thought to themselves, so you mean that everyone's flesh tone isn't beige? Oh, that is alarming. While we appreciate that, right? We appreciate having a Band-Aid when we scrape our knee, right? I think it's important to note, how many people did you have, Band-Aid, on your board of directors that let 100 years go by with one color being flesh tone? Just wondering. So another thing that's been happening is people stepping down from voice-over acting roles because they were voicing maybe characters of color or Black characters. In some cases, they were half white and half Black characters, and they've stepped down because they said, I shouldn't be doing this. And again, while we appreciate, you stepping back and saying, maybe I shouldn't have been, voicing Cleveland, who is a fantastic character, by the way. Maybe we should look at, hiring more voice actors, hiring more cartoonists, giving other people opportunities to create cartoons, people of color, and they can, work on the people that they want to voice those actors. As opposed to you stepping back, use your privilege, again, to say, let's try a different person. Let's bring in, someone else, a Black cartoon artist, and see what they have to offer. Again, we're wanting to change the structure and not necessarily the symbol. So while I see a lot of streets being painted with Black Lives Matter, and and we love to paint by numbers. It's lovely, it's so much fun. But I think to myself, in the time that they painted those streets, how many laws have been worked on being changed? How many cops that are terrible cops, not the good ones, because I know you guys love to say Blue Lives Matter, but how many terrible cops have been brought to the table for things that they've done maybe recently or even in the past that haven't been properly dealt with? How many books have we read? How much research have we done? How many TED Talks have we watched about, being an ally and ways that maybe microaggressions through your everyday life have aided to minority groups feeling uncomfortable when you were around them at work? So we're painting and we're painting and we're painting, but what are we changing, right? And so yes, did I think that the lady that was trying to paint over the Black Lives Matter on the street was hot, utter, steaming trash? Absolutely. But I also have to understand that with her painting over that is simply just a symbol. It's something that was put down on the ground. That didn't change her heart, right? That didn't change the fact that she does not believe that my life matters as much as hers. And her painting over it is just a reminder that that doesn't change much. It's a statement and it's bold and I'd love to see it. But if there is no action behind something like that, what is it really for? Another thing that has been kind of like all over a little bit is the Golden Girls episode, which, first of all, in this home, we stand the Golden Girls, period, point blank, okay? So there's an episode from season 3, and the ladies have on mud mask, and the son was going to marry an older black woman. It's a whole thing, right? And they snatched it down because they said that's promoting blackface. And I said, and as I'm doing this research and I'm reading different, articles, and I'm listening to podcasts, every single black person has said the same thing. We didn't ask for that. We know the difference between blackface and just wearing a mud mask, girl. We wear them too. I stand an African clay mask, and you should too, because they're fantastic. But I'm not, quite frankly, dumb enough to think that that episode is blackface, right? So if you're just reaching and grabbing for straws, saying, well, we have to take this down and that down, and you're not, one, thinking about why you feel like all of a sudden it's offensive, and two, you're not even actually asking black people if they find that to be offensive, you're again missing the mark, right? Like, that episode was actually a fantastic episode because there was so much going on between the families, with him being white and her being black and her being older, that one little scene was never interpreted as blackface, because we're smart enough to know the difference, right? But if you just feel bad about everything, you're gonna start taking everything away without really even making much sense. The next thing you know, we're not gonna call it Black Friday, but like, it still is Black Friday. So make your changes intentional, and on top of that, make your changes with black people in the room so that you're even changing the things that need to be changed. Does that make sense? Does that? No? Doesn't it? Well, it makes sense to me. Here's the thing. I want us to really understand that the structures and the systems that have allowed certain things to go on for a very long time is truly the issue here, and not the remnants of what is still around. I love the idea of having a black bachelor. I don't watch the show, but to me, that's fantastic, right? Let him go find love. Loved when we had the black girl. Let her go find love. But I care less about you putting a black bachelor in than I do about having a show that's been on for years and years and years, where you have said that white men that look vaguely familiar are the only people deserving enough to put on television to find love. I care less about Lady Antebellum changing their name to Lady A, and more about the fact that they didn't do the research initially to know that that is obviously a plantation name before they named their group that. I care less about having a brown band-aid in my shade than I do about a company being open for years and years and years, and nobody in the room was smart enough to say, maybe this isn't the only shade of flesh tone. What makes you think that in less than 2 months, you have learned everything you need to learn about racism, Black lives, the mistreatment of Black people in the United States, and that you are good to go because you gave us a band-aid? You can't even break a habit in less than 21 days. These little changes are nice, but if you don't change your mind, if you don't change the systems and the structures that have allowed you to think that some of this stuff was okay, we're not getting anywhere, sis. So think beyond yourself and understand that you still have learning to do. So much. I mean, like, so much. And then when you learn, and then when you've done research, and then, and only then, can you then go into the places and spaces and say, actually, I don't like how this is going, or I think we need to add people of color here, or I think we should bring in a diversity and inclusion person so that they can help us get our crap together. It's not about all of a sudden seeing that Black people exist and then scurrying to show some weird, not well thought out, you know, show of allyship and support. I want you to be thoughtful. I want you to think about the things that you're doing, and I want you to have Black people in the room. Like, you guys are making these decisions, and I know you ain't talked to no Black people. You couldn't have. Because I'm gonna put Aunt Jemima syrup on my pancakes. I'm gonna do it, and I always have. I always have, and that's not going to change. That's not what I need when I say I need you to understand that my life matters. That's not what I'm asking for. So talk to Black people, add them to the room, and let them speak. And you would realize what we're really asking for is you to arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor. What we're really asking for is for you to get down to the bottom of what happened to Elijah McClain. What we're asking for are real actionable things and not your tears. It's not to be a critic and it's not to be mean, but it's a reminder that you're not listening to what we're saying. You're just doing what you think is the best thing for us. And had you done the best thing for us and our people 1,000,000 years ago, you would have never brought us over here as slaves. But that's a conversation we're not gonna have today. Be diligent about being an ally. Be diligent about learning, because if you put that box in your Instagram, I'm keeping my foot on your neck forever. Forever. Because you took that second and you made a choice. You said, whether it was a joke or not, that you stand with us. That I will never understand, but I understand, and I stand with you as you stand, we all stand together. Whatever reason you put it there, whether it was because you just wanted to do what everyone else was doing, or because you really felt like you wanted to know more about this movement and stand with your friends and your family member, if you put it there, I'm holding you to that. If you ain't really down, take it down, because I'm gonna keep my foot in your neck for like forever. Okay, it's fine. It's just gonna be very light pressure, but it's gonna be there, because apologies are nothing without action. Black squares are nothing without action. Change is nothing without action. So you can keep your Band-Aid, but there's still work to do. Yeah? You can do it.